Hello, welcome to Skye Sweaty Record Review, episode 189. The only first listen new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after leaving the gym. It's very atmospheric here. I got this new table, it's reflecting this light off me. I feel like I'm a little bit backlit. I'm a little bit spooky, which is good for reasons that I'll get into soon. I'm going to be reviewing the album Closer to Grey. That's Grey spelled with an A, not with an E. And it's by the band Chromatics. Now, I'm going to take you on a journey through this record because I ended up actually loving it. I had kind of a long workout today. I was learning how to use these weird new machines they have. So I've listened to it maybe now 3 times. Usually I only listen once, but I listened to it 3 times. And each time I enjoyed it more. But I almost didn't make it. I almost stopped after the first listen, after the first song. You see, the first song is a cover of Sound of Silence by Simon & Garfunkel. Simon & Garfunkel, a band which I am wildly dispassionate about. I admire their songwriting, but I don't particularly care for them. Like, I don't know what it is, but I just don't care about Simon & Garfunkel, one way or the other. Sound of Silence is a great tune, but so they do a cover, and the cover is like, it's kind of a moody, electro 80s feel with a breathy pop singer. And I'm just like, all right, guys, I know. It's gotta be that a lot of money for artists these days just comes from soundtracks. And an 80s sounding horror movie, kind of like Italian horror movie sounding soundscape, giallo horror movie soundscape might really work well. And I could see a cover of a well-known song and like I can already see it as a soundtrack. I look up their bio on Tidal, and the first thing is like the soundtrack masters who have been in the movie Drive and been on Twin Peaks, and I'm just kind of like, all right, but you know, this isn't enough for me. It's not enough for me that you make stuff that could be soundtracks. I need you to make actually good music. But it was interesting enough that I listened to the next track. Another kind of mediocre song. Again, just this whole sort of 80s synth soundscape I've heard so much. How many times are you going to have a synthy soundscape with a female singer? I just skipped ahead and it started to pick up with the next track, Closer to Grey, the title track. There's like a very Cure style guitar line, which if you're going to sound like the 80s, you know, it's not enough just to have a bunch of synthesizers. You have to do something interesting. And so this kind of Cure sounding guitar line, and it had these kind of like vocals that floated in a very non-Cure way. So it was a nice kind of mixture of those different things. And then, pow, it happened. The 4th track, Twist the Knife. I realized, okay, I'm glad I stuck with it. And what we're going to discover is, as I went through this record, it basically gets better and better the more you listen to it. The opening track is so pedestrian, such a clear grab at attention for idiots who are going to go, oh, I like covers of different sounding covers of songs I'm familiar with, you know? Twist the Knife is really, for me, where the album starts. Really great melody, very simple, really well-written lyrics, you know, about love being like hate, teach me to be cruel the way they tortured you. A lot of the lyrics in this album are sad but not self-pitying, very atmospheric. It has the simplicity of the 80s, but again, like, to do it well takes a lot of effort. It's easy just to, you know, get the sounding on your synthesizer and just put it into Pro Tools or whatever, but they do it so well. And her voice is sort of pleasant and eerie, basically at all times. And again, that's not that easy to do. Kind of like the lighting I got going here. It's pleasant and eerie. So I'm going to play you a little bit of the track Twist the Knife. This is not my favorite track on the album, but it's going to be my stamp, because I think it gives you the best example of what Chromatics do well. Here's Twist the Knife, and hopefully it doesn't take my video down from copyright. Who knows, I might have to edit this out. We'll see.
You could teach me to be cruel, like the way they tortured you. Teach me to be cruel, like the way they tortured you. It's alright. Twist the knife. It's alright. Twist the knife.
All right, I'm going to stop there. I've listened to this song like 10 times today. I really can't get enough of it. if that sounded like something you sort of like, do yourself a favor and listen to it a couple times. And then it just keeps going. Basically, track after track after track is great and all fits within this great kind of atmosphere. Light as a Feather is the next one. It's a lot more layered. Light as a Feather, Nothing Lasts Forever. Like the vocals are in the back. There's synthesizers layered on top of each other, vocals laid on top of each other. Very dreamlike, but it's dreamlike, but it's anchored, meaning like sometimes when you listen to dreamlike music, you just feel like you're not listening to anything. That's not the case with this. It's really nice, and it's a great sort of trancy round in the back with this woman singing over herself and Light as a Feather. And then Move a Mountain is the next track, double-tracked vocals, more great sad lyrics. But then sort of towards the end, it does something interesting. Like a flute comes in with this glockenspiel sound, and it kind of lifts it up a little bit and gives you like a little extra melodic play, which they do a fair amount where they sort of wait till the end to do something a little bit more interesting. Then Touch Red. This might be my favorite track on the album. Really, it's just a masterpiece. It's just great. It has this excellent guitar work at the end with like a double fuzzy guitar going sort of at the same time with these layered synths. I can't do it justice. I really can't. Like, just find the track Touch Red by Chromatics and listen to it. And in the beginning, like, you might be a little bit like, all right, these lyrics are okay, it's okay. But by the end, the way that they layer the guitars and the synthesizers, it's really interesting. Boy, this light is just super intense. Look at that. I go from, oh, touch red. See here, I'm completely red because of the reflection off my table. Whoa, that's wild. I'm learning about lighting. I'm a YouTuber. And then Whispers in the Hall. This is where the Italian influence really comes through. So it's like a weird thing, right? If you watch the Giallo movies, so the horror movies from Italy in the 70s, particularly the works of Dario Argento, they have a lot of interesting and bizarre keyboard, dreamy music. And apparently, a lot of hipsters, like myself, watch those movies and go, I like that music. And apparently a small subset of those hipsters then go on to create music that sounds like it. And I use the word hipster twice. I don't mean it as an insult. I think it's great. I think this is great music, and I think it should be appropriated and integrated into other kinds of music. And this is sort of the creepiest track. You know, it has like all these lyrics about little boys and little girls and about what the world holds for them. It's actually funny, this book here, Italian Film Posters, was given to me by a friend of mine who introduced me really to Giallo music and posters for that matter. And I sent him a text like, Ron, you might like this music because it's also kind of a little shoegazy as well, which is something that he likes, like that kind of unexpected layers coming at the end, and it's excellent. On the Wall, I might like this as much as I like Touch Red. Just a great track, a really cool like Casio sounding drum machine, and kind of like a beep beep beep, and more fuzzy guitars. Maybe her best, no, definitely her best lyrics on the album. She talks about, you know, being 1 foot tall, just like a doll, but like a doll she can't see. Then she compares herself to a clock. It's a great track about, I guess, feeling lonely or feeling useless or feeling unseeing or unseen. Just excellent. What's great about this is it sort of like drops out, and there's sort of like this, like, all right. Let me look at my notes one more time here. Okay, so once again, there's a great guitar line, kind of a fuzzy, Cure-like guitar line. And then everything drops out, and the guitar line continues. And then the lyric comes back, and then a flute comes in. So this is the most developed song that goes over a long period of time. I would say, listen to Twist the Knife to get you used to their soundscape, listen to Touch Red for their ambition, and then On the Wall to see like just how ambitious they can get. Love Theme from Close to Grey is the next track. So, like, they're pretending like the album is a soundtrack, and even the cover like is supposed to look like a movie poster. You see that? You know, it's supposed to look like a Giallo poster. You know, even has the warning for mature audiences. So this is, I guess, part of their aesthetic is sounding like a soundtrack. And then it ends with Wishing Well, which is a good. Which I like. I don't love it. It has kind of a more sort of glockenspiely, almost like Sloop John B, like kind of twirling melodies that are matched by the singing. So there you go. There's my review of the surprisingly tremendous Chromatics album. It deserves multiple listenings. I might buy it. I really enjoy listening to it. It's nice. Oh, and I like my new gym. So there you go. It's different. Everything's shiny and new. There's very little funk in it, but that's all right. Anyways, for Dario Argento and for the Chromatics, I say, see you next time. And there's the camera. Red, white, touch red.